Good? Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and call to order the regular meeting for October 8th, 2024. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Our mission statement is Learning for Life. Our vision statement is Southgate Community Schools, the best choice for students and parents. With that, I will entertain a motion on the agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support? Support. Supported by Mr. Sage. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll call for vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes. We have no presentations tonight. Citizens' comments. Anyone who would like to address the board for up to 3 minutes? Not all at once. Nope. All right. Go ahead and close public comment. Bring us to the consent agenda, which consists of minutes from the September 24th, 2024 board workshop and regular meeting, the HR update, and September 2024 disbursements. I'll entertain a motion on consent.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support? Support. Support by Mr. Green. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Action item number 1, approval of the 2024 board meeting calendar amendment.
Yes, annually, we have the Board of Education approve the year's calendar every January. We do, though, need a change in the date for December. We will have a financing agenda item that will need to come before the board on the 17th. And rather than having 2 board meetings, one on the 10th and one on the 17th, we think we can combine those and have it on the 17th. We would use that evening for the support and celebration of our band and fall athletes. We would also have it at Anderson High School in our newly renovated auditorium at that time. So
Okay.
this is an agenda item recommending that change.
Okay. Any questions on moving that or questions for staff? All right. Seeing none, I'll bring the discussion to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 1.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2024 board meeting calendar amendment as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Lamas. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Action item number 2, approval of the baseball and softball outfield fencing award recommendation. Kent's got this one? Hardy's gonna help.
Gary Kent with Nightmare on Rail Point, and Jason Hardy. We represent the award recommendation for the fencing project for the baseball softball renovations that are currently ongoing at Anderson. This process was a mutual effort between Plant Moran Rail Point, the Southgate Community School District, and the Collaborative, which is the architect for the project. During the construction of the baseball and softball fields, we identified the potential to replace the outfield fencing at both the baseball and the softball, as well as some fencing that connects in between the current field house and the stadium area to the softball fields. Essentially, what we would do is just match the fencing that's being installed with the whole field house to kind of make it look uniform. Our current plan is to take the fencing that's currently at the baseball and softball field that's still in really good shape and use it at the Garish renovation project that we just got bids back on. So the contractor would take it down, roll it up, take it over to the other fields and install it over there. That'd be a separate award project that we'd bring later on. But overall, we were able to meet with bond counsel and get a legal opinion saying that we could use either the contractors that are at the field house doing renovations or the contractor that's at the current baseball softball field project. So we got 2 prices, $200,000 from the contractor that's at the field house and $150,000 proposal from S&H Trucking, which is currently doing all the work at the baseball softball fields. So we took the lower of the 2 bids, which is $150,000. We're recommending a contingency amount of $30,000 for any unforeseen items that might pop up, for a total award recommendation of $180,000. You can see the following page with the budget breakdown. So the $2.45 million was originally approved or that was the budget, I'm sorry. The 2.429 million was the original approved Hart construction number for the baseball softball package. We're recommending additional $180,000 for the softball and baseball fencing. The $245,000, which is the original contingency for the project, bringing a new total project cost of $2,854,000, which is a savings of what was budgeted originally at $41,000. The last page, you'll see a drawing of the baseball and softball field areas, as well as the additional fencing connecting the softball field over to the field house. So everything highlighted in green in the outfield is what would be replaced, and we have black vinyl fencing as well as some gates that would allow Jason's team to get in and access the fields for maintenance. And then the blue area on the top right of the page is what would be the other black vinyl fencing connecting to the field house area. Any questions on the solar recognition?
Dr. Mahoney?
So the difference between the silver chain link and the black vinyl, what's the difference in it?
The black vinyl is just a coating that they put on the chain link. It actually makes it last longer. It's a better product, and it'll match all the black ornamental fencing that's being put up around the field house. And
It's also a little easier to see through, the fencing that we have installed. It doesn't reflect as much as the silver, so it's easier to see through the fencing. You almost know it's not even there, I mean, from a distance.
Okay. And then also where it intersects with the baseball and softball, is there any walkway that goes through there, or is it just close together, or is it just grass?
I believe currently that area is open.
Between the baseball and softball
Yeah.
field currently?
Yeah,
Center
There-
field, there's a walkway, there's a very brief walkway.
like in between here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's small. I mean, you're not really, it's tight to squeeze a mower through, but there is a walk. Right now it has a gate that you can shut to keep people from,
Okay.
but there is something existing right now. And some of that's gonna get replaced. It's almost in the middle of the fields.
Okay, and is that a large portion of the field back there? And where does the tennis courts? Where's the and over here?
So,
Because I'm trying to-
The tennis courts would be over here.
Okay,
This is baseball. The tennis courts would be over here. Yeah, like, I don't know, there, if you can see, there's the tennis court. So this is the baseball field. Here's the softball field. Here would be the, the field house itself for the stadium
okay.
to give you a direction.
And then behind this field here is going to be the parking for the tennis courts, or?
Correct, yeah, that's currently under construction right now.
Like, here's the pool stuff, and then like the
Okay.
school's over here, tennis
Okay.
courts here, so then the parking's over here.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, and also, is there a warranty on that vinyl? Does it wear out quick, or what's?
I don't know the warranty. We can find out that information and send it over to the board. I know typically it's a parts and labor warranty of at least 1 year if there's any heaving in the posts. As far as material warranty, we can find that information out and send it to the board.
Okay, I was just curious how, because I mean, it would look nice and with the covering and everything, but I don't know how long it would last with the weathering and,
Yeah, it lasts longer than the fence we have up now. It doesn't rust out. That's why the black coating's on it, so the lifespan is longer. And it's just as tough. It's just coated fencing.
That's
So
what we
it's
have
not
on the
like
tennis courts now, isn't it? Isn't it the black vinyl coated?
Yeah, there's different gauges, but yes, it's similar to what we have on tennis currently.
okay, thank you.
There'll also be a whole new black safety capping on the entire outfield as well. So look nice.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I do want to highlight that the ornamental fencing that's right now wrapping the stadium that has got a lot of community comments and compliments. That's the same design, but a 4-foot high one will actually cross from the field house over into the softball area as kind of a decorative lead and protection from keeping vehicles off of the blacktop that's right there behind the softball diamond.
Nice.
That will be the aluminum fence here, not the black vinyl, so it'll match, just shorter fence. It'll tie into the field house and match the same style, just smaller, and run down the sidewalk along the parking lot here in the drawing here. So that's the aluminum, and all the rest is the vinyl.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? All right. Seeing none, I'll bring the discussion back to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 2.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the baseball and softball outfield fencing award recommendation as presented.
Okay, a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Lamas. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Thank you. And then approval, number 3 is approval of the Shelters soccer field. I know we had a Shelters soccer.
I know.
We don't, we will now,
Oh, we don't?
to be created.
Yeah.
That's nice.
He's my backup tonight, so if you have questions, he's gonna be able to answer a lot of this. He put this
We throw
together.
something, you're gonna move and it'll hit him, right?
No, I'm good. To provide opportunity to our elementary students and future continued revenue stream for the district, we propose to renovate the field at Shelters Elementary and create a soccer field. Our grounds team will be doing the work to make this a functional, playable soccer field. To complete this project, we're asking for approval of the following. Pioneer Athletics soccer goals, permanent soccer goals, we're going to cement them in with the corner flags. United Rentals, we need to rent a skid steer, track loader, and an auger to put the goalposts in. Lowe's, we got some miscellaneous railroad ties to help level the field. Rhino seed, 3-way tall fescue blend, so grass seed and fertilizer. Wolverine Contractors, we figured a train load of screen, sandy loam, topsoil, and mason sand.
Correct.
Okay. So we're gonna take the existing field, we're gonna use the dump truck that got delivered last week to haul the topsoil and sand out there. So we're gonna, correct me if I'm wrong, okay, we're gonna
Stage it.
stage it, but then we're gonna dump it and level it with the timbers and our ABI force and get a nice, smooth, playable surface.
Overseed. We'll overseed it with the 3-way turf type tall fescue. 3-way turf type tall fescue is the best grass for like drought tolerance. So that's the way to go. We'll put the 19 starter fertilizer down on it, let it go throughout the season, and then let the grass establish, and we'll go back and start treating the weeds.
Oh, good.
So we wanna do that this fall, get the field ready, so it's got some grow time in the rest of the fall, the spring. If we get the seed on, it'll go dormant, and in the spring, it'll start to germinate, if cold weather hits. So it's not a bad thing to seed now and reseed it again in the spring. So we figured a contingency of $3,500 to go along with this project. It is our recommendation that the Board of Education approve the purchase of materials and rental equipment to build a soccer field at Shelters Elementary in the amount of $17,871.22 coming from the bond fund. Questions?
Dr.
Yes.
Pomponio.
Yeah, so what is the use case right now? And I drive by and look back, and I see activity out there. Is there no one using the field as it is, or?
It's really rough and bumpy back there. You really can't. It's not even, I mean, it's good for playground use, but if you want to like actually have competition games out there, it's not good.
So when we first started, there was the bones of a soccer field, but I wouldn't say it was playable by any means. So this was over 3 years ago. We wanted to make sure that we put the soccer field in a place that's more accessible. You know, you got to walk to the back of Shelters. We all know that's pretty far. So what does that look like? We got to plan it between the drainage. There's a lot of drainage back there. So we're going to stake it out, maybe A and B, and what makes sense to the principal, the district. Where do we want this field? So we're not just going to go back there and randomly put a soccer field. You know, it's going to take some planning, staking to get the field. We're hoping that it's going to bring some revenue in, you know, for the field. So if we get this field up and a nice playable surface, the community's going to see it and then possibly want to rent it. Hopefully.
Also by bringing the soil in, try to create like a crown effect. You don't have to go nuts with it, but some kind of a surface drainage out there. That way the water rolls off the field versus, you know, puddling all over it.
I do want to jump in, and I appreciate the enthusiasm for revenue producing, but that was actually not the motivation to initially. We want to get all of our elementary fields in a condition that is decent for play. And if you've been out on the Grogan field area, it's rough. If you've been out on the Shelters field area, it's really rough. And we'd like to see down the road, our elementary schools have a soccer team, that they can play against each other. And that would be a site that they could do that. So it's really, first and foremost for our kids. And that's the real motivation. We took out the posts. We've been taking out goal posts all over our properties because they were rusted out or they were really not in good condition. They were dangerous. So we removed them. But this is part of the commitment of putting them back and making sure that playing surface is something that can be played on. Because I do think communities, our school communities, just like they appreciate the opportunity to use our playgrounds, they like the opportunity to use those fields. And kids love having a soccer goal that they can go out and kick goals in practice. That's what they like doing as part of, that play. And so I think it's good for the community. I think it gives us an opportunity to build in some intramural sports for our elementary kids. We need to build our soccer program is something that is something we want to be and we are proud of, but we want to continue to strengthen. So I think these are all opportunities. The fact that it may also generate revenue down the road is great, but that's really not the main focus.
So will the space be usable by other folks if they're not playing soccer, so other kids? And then is it going to be fenced in, the soccer field?
Currently, we're not planning on fencing in.
That wasn't a suggestion, it was a question, so.
Currently, it's not planned to be fenced in. The rest of the shelter's property is not fenced in, back in the back. So I guess we have to see how everybody's treating it. Start there.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, I know that they have the big track, so is it behind the smaller playground is where it's gonna be?
It's gonna be probably behind the smaller playground off the blacktop there,
Okay,
just because the soccer field, I need 360 feet by 200 feet. And I gotta figure out how I can fit it in there.
yeah,
Around the drainage, because there's a lot of manholes in that you don't see from the road, and there's dips and there's ditches, and so we gotta strategically place it that it makes sense.
okay. And also, on one of the quotes, it says ship to Beacon. The United Rentals, is that where something's gonna be staged or?
It's gonna be staged actually at Heinzen, because we're gonna have it dumped there, but every time I rent stuff from them, they always put Beacon, because usually most of the work I did is at Beacon so far with the ball
Okay.
fields.
We dropped the equipment at Garrish where our connexes are, and we stage a lot of the material there, usually on the old tennis court, because you need a place to haul from. So we're not taking up parking lots. We thought Heinzen, the old Heinzen property would be closer and a better location this time because we're back in school. And it's an empty lot, so we're gonna stage the soil there and load it into our dump truck and bring it to shelters from that point, so we're not taking up parking spots.
And so when is this supposed to start? The work on this?
Upon approval, we're gonna order the material and get this equipment here, so within the next couple of weeks, we want to start the work before the ground gets too hard. And we still got some grow time on the seed and
So it
fertilizer.
won't take long to get the grass through the topsoil. Probably the longest we'll be waiting on is the goalpost, for the nets.
Yeah,
But, the majority of the work is getting the field smoothed out, seeded, fertilized, and then when we get the posts, we can anchor those as long as it ain't too cold for the concrete to cure.
okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
So these will be permanently fixed goalposts then? Is that better than the portable ones that you can kind of wheel
Well,
around?
the
or-
portable ones, we don't want to come missing,
Good.
Indoor kids will drag it across the field and it'll be by the big playground and then you gotta
Yeah.
haul it back.
Or, and also gotta worry about the tipping hazard too, because if they're out there and kids decide to climb and that thing tips over, if they're not secured, or they can get hurt,
Okay.
not killed on them.
So will we have I'm sure we have cameras back there now. Do we have cameras that are going to be?
Well, the cameras all have to be connected to, the electrical circuits, so they're on the outside of our buildings, so they will have a view of that area.
Yeah.
You probably aren't going to get a lot of detailed looks at
Right.
profiles from that distance, possibly. But as we are adding equipment, that is generally one of our questions we ask ourselves and in our planning documents is how are we going to protect this space? Where do the cameras best fit? So I'm sure that'll come up at some point.
Okay.
Right now, though, that field is ours. It's already there, and there are kids that play out there. It's a pretty that ground is pretty unsafe for that.
Thank you.
That's a pretty big area though, is it? How far are we away from just like cleaning most of it up rather than just the soccer field part? Like you said, to make the whole back 40 safe,
We could, it'd take a lot of earth. We have to bring a lot of dirt in.
You'd have to, it's
Yeah,
not just a matter of running it down and leveling it out, it's a
Yeah,
matter of bringing
that's why I'm
stuff
getting the
in.
railroad ties, because
I mean, I get why you're bringing it in for the
I have to
soccer.
probably do the same thing with those, because all I'm gonna do is take our dump truck, run it up and down the field, and then as we're running back and forth, take the tractor with the railroad ties, and that's how you smooth the field out.
We do have a roller. We have rolled these fields, but it's past rolling and leveling. It's now you have to bring in topsoil, sand mix, and level.
Fill
and
it,
reseed.
seed it, yeah. Okay.
So we have gotten into we're rolling schools. We're out there mowing, so as it gets rough, we roll them, to keep
Like we
everything.
started, with doing a top dressing program. Once you get them smooth, you need to do a top dressing program on them. But you gotta, to get them smooth, and how bad they are right now, you gotta bring a lot of dirt in.
Right. And the times of year we have to mow, we don't get a choice between nice, dry weather, so you're out there in the,
Yeah.
when it's
We
soft,
created ruts.
and you're creating ruts, and, yeah. Then when it dries up, they become hard lumps, and- yeah,
Right.
okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anything you want to know about grass or fertilizer or dirt? We got the group right here.
Let you know.
Gary, you got any questions about dirt or anything? You good? All right. Okay, with that, I'll bring the discussion back to the table. Entertain a motion on action item number 3.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the shelter soccer field as presented.
All right, I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Green. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Go ahead and order your dirt and grass and everything else. All right, the last item on the agenda.
Mr. President,
Green.
I'd like to make a motion to close.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn by Mr. Green. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Dr. Pomponio. Any discussion? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.